I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
Smacking dudes with his 18-inch meat stick.
I'm going to go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's going to happen on Saturday.
And we're back. I know there were some very disappointed MMA Analysis, Hawganalysis fans that didn't get to hear the Kentucky Sodsman talk about his second true love, Francis Ngannou. And it was fate. Maybe it was fate that things didn't go the way that, most of us, and especially Wes, would have liked it to go last Saturday night. So let's start there. Mr. Sodsman, how are you? And how are you doing after, AN after Ngannou?
Man, I tell you, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm really split. I thought the guy was going to win that fight. I think a lot of people did. But man, got to give it to Stipe, man. First off, I'll talk about Stipe. You got to give it to the guy, man. He's a really a well-rounded heavyweight fighter in today's day and age. He fought good, man. There's a couple things that touch on with him, though. I just saw after the fight, man, like people lose their mind, and we started seeing GOAT talk about Stipe, like greatest heavyweight of all time and shit. It's like, man, chill out. Even on the other way with Hawgannou, seeing people say that he's a fucking never have been, never will be after one fight, people are just crazy, man. But yeah, Stipe fought a good fight, man, and I think Stipe's outside of Kane. I think he's probably the most well-rounded heavyweight maybe in the history of the sport. That's no bullshit. I think Kane's probably better. He just can't stay healthy. But when you can go and start saying greatest of all time already and shit, you look back in guys like, Fedor and Crow Cop and the guys they were fighting back then and shit, like let's their resumes, slow down on that talk. Man, my boy Hawgannou, though, I thought he had him in the first, man. He had Stipe hurt a couple times, dude. And I really think he did. He had an adrenaline dump. I think he blew his fucking load. Not saying his cardio isn't a question, because it obviously is. He's got to work on that. But the good things I saw, man, our boy Sean, does he have a chin? I think he's got a hell of a chin. Stipe knocks out every other dude in the division with the shit he was landing on him. Does he have heart? Man, he's got some serious heart, because most dudes would have quit. Dude stayed in there for 5 rounds getting the shit beat out of him. If those two fought in like 6 months from now, and I got plus money, I'd probably bet Hawgannou again. I think he's going to learn from this. I think he's good, man. I mean, hell, even in the fourth, when he was dead tired, he caught Stipe with a punch and knocked him halfway across the cage. I mean, we see the obvious, the skills. We see where he needs to work, and if he can get with the right coaches, I think he does need to get away from the UFC Institute or what, a Gym of the Year. I know it's Gym of the Year. Don't get me wrong, UFC Institute, but get with a legit gym. We saw he got taken down. Stipe's got really good takedowns. Hawgannou got up from a lot of those, so I will give him that. But takedown defense definitely needs work. I just think if he didn't just completely gas out after like a round, I think he would have been all up in that fight. So there's obvious things that I think he can work on, and I truly believe that dude will be a champion really, really soon. It blows my mind, like I said, to start it off, how people just completely are prisoners of the moment. Stipe's the greatest of all time, and Hawgannou is just, I mean, I just that shit blows my mind. It's kind of a fallacy to how can Stipe be the greatest if he's beating cans like Ngannou? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, props to Stipe, and I think Hawganalysis will be back, and I think he'll be better than ever. I feel sorry for the next guy that he fights because he's going to probably go out on a stretcher. And I think if he fights Stipe, even at the end of this year, maybe early next year again, I think he's right there. He could have, like I said, could have won this fight. He had Stipe hurt multiple times in the first round, shut his eye almost completely in the first round. He was right there. He blew it. So props to Stipe, but I think my boy Hawganalysis will be he'll still be champ one of these days.
So, news, Sean. This is probably going to be our longest show in history if it keeps up, I imagine.
Yeah, we're just talking about the fights that matter.
Gotta get
you got to talk about this. I'll speak on this a bit. I didn't bet either of the sides. I kind of did have a thought that this might happen. You know, Stipe survives and kind of takes over. I really think it was just a matter of Hawganalysis just kind of underestimated and kind of believed in himself a little bit too much. And he rushed it. I think the moment got to him. And I mean, this is a young fighter. He's only been fighting MMA like 4 years. And he's
which is
fighting,
crazy.
Yeah,
Think
it's crazy.
Think about that.
We saw in his first couple fights in the UFC, he was very calculated. Like he did not fight anywhere like what he did on last Saturday.
Even against Ring.
Yeah, he was calm, like he was composed and he was taking his time. But against Stipe, he just was like running at him and just throwing wildly. I just think the moment got to him. He'll definitely learn from this, and he's still going to be a very dangerous guy. I'm definitely not jumping off the hype train. I think this is going to be like the best thing for him. He's going to get taken down a peg or two. And now that he's had his like first big main event, he'll be good to go next time. I think he can definitely beat Stipe. So I wouldn't be surprised to. I'll probably bet him in the rematch, especially if I'm going to get some decent money on him.
I'm even more on the Ngannou train now.
Yeah, now we saw that he's got a chin.
Yep.
He's got heart.
Yep.
He's just got to, he's got to take his takedowns more serious, go a lot more calm and collected, and strike how he used to strike, and he'll be good to go.
All things that are fixable for
fixable.
a guy that's been fighting for 4 or 5 years with who knows what kind of coaches and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm even more on the train now. And like I said earlier, our boy Sean said, like, to take the shots he did from Stipe and literally didn't even really look like he was rocked. Yeah, and he took some massive blows. Yeah, that's all good signs to me. I'm even more on board.
Your thoughts, Jay?
He's clearly showed that he's one of the best heavyweights in the division. I think we knew that even beforehand. Just the reality is he's not going to be able to run through everybody, and that showed here. Stipe, one of Stipe's best attributes is especially in this weight class, is ability to multiple rounds and several rounds. There's only a few guys who showed that they can do that and work a decent. I think it also helps that he's not like super heavy for the weight class. Typically, or even really sort of since Kane kind of came into relevance, or even before Randy Couture, the top heavyweights have usually been guys that haven't actually pressed the top of the weight limit. They've been 235, 240, somewhere in that range. That seems to be kind of like the optimal weight. As they seem to get bigger, they just I think conditioning becomes an issue.
You're right.
Ngannou is definitely.
He did.
Yeah,
he put on like
size.
20 pounds. Yeah, he put on like 20 pounds since just a couple years ago. He's got to take a little bit of that back off. I totally agree with that.
And that's an issue. And certainly he's still green. Obviously, that's it just kind of worked itself out. I mean, for the first round, he certainly looked to go toe to toe with Stipe, and then really it just came down to conditioning. It was really nothing more, nothing less at that point.
felt like Stipe could have finished.
There's a difference. So he would have thought so, but maybe not. I think part of that shows Ngannou's, ability. But whatever. We'll
Dude
see.
showed some heart.
Go back to the drawing board. I mean, nothing wrong with that. We'll see. I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to come back and be able to kind of any point in time. But I don't think it's going to be a case of he's going to lose like 4 fights in a row now. That he's been exposed. I mean, I don't see it that way.
Weak, man. Like,
who beats him? Like seriously, outside of Stipe.
I mean, Overeem could have KO'd Stipe a couple fights ago, and people would have thought about everything totally differently. And then probably Ngannou would have been the champion. So, it's
the division, man. Hey, you never know what heavyweights do. Literally, you just never know.
That's definitely part of it in this division. Do you guys want to go through the rest of this UFC card quickly, or should we touch on the one fight in Bellator that mattered?
We can. There's a couple on this card. I'll touch on just a couple of the bigger fights. If you want, definitely. Let's see about DC.
Yeah, I had right at the bottom. I had the mac and cheese to Gleison T-bout over. I got it at minus 140. It closed at minus 300, and it lost a minute into the fight. That was an awesome loss right there.
Mac and cheese is the real. I'll just say that dude's good. He's really good.
I wonder why he's good.
We're getting close, Jay. You got to make that walk, though, son. We're getting close.
I might have to. I think the tickets go on sale in about 2 weeks.
You got to be there.
I may not have a choice. I mean,
I got to see Khabib murder a dude live, but it wasn't for a belt. So definitely, you got to go get to see that, dude.
That might have to happen. But the Dagestan never fail. I'm even more fascinated to see what the rest of the Dagestan crew looks like when they make it into the UFC. I know they've just signed a couple of the dudes, including Habib's brother. I mean, it could just be it could be
very different kind, man.
It could be, yeah, exactly. They're a different kind of dude, right?
Yeah, they are, man. They're that whole crew. They're a different kind of dudes, man.
Yeah, that's why we like them. That's why we like betting on them. We'll just kind of touch on. I'll just kind of go through some of these results. Enrique Barzola taking out former Bellator, former, I guess, current UFC, probably going to be fighter Matt Bessette by decision. In a two guys debuting fight, Julio Arce fighting out of Tiger Schulman, I believe, knocked their decision Dan Idge. I thought Arce looked pretty good in that fight. One of the best fights on the card, Dustin Ortiz squeaked by Alessandro Pantoja by decision. It was close.
Good.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised one of the judges didn't give Pantoja the third round, but here we are. I didn't see the knockout live because I was kind of in transit to the bar. But Abdul Razak Al Hassan taking out Sabah Homasi,
murderer,
number one on SportsCenter.
Yeah,
wow.
ESPN SportsCenter number one. That was a death punch.
And about that was a total meh. Kyle Bochniak beat former to Contender Series winner Brandon Davis by decision. Speaking of Brandon Davis, the guy that Davis beat on Contender Series is debuting
off a loss
on this week's. So we'll get to that. Off a loss, exactly. We'll get to that in a bit. Surprise, in my opinion. Rob Font TKOing Thomas Almeida in the second round. Biggest win of Rob Font's career. Either of you guys have thoughts on that one?
Man, Almeida's in fun fights, but that chin is just always going to be a liability. Yeah. I've never been a Rob Font guy, but he seems to be kind of putting it together finally.
He can box.
Yeah, he
can
box.
He can box.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's his stand-up.
Have we come to the realization? Have we come to the realization that Thomas Almeida has hit his ceiling?
Yeah, he beats guys that he should beat, and anywhere inside the top 8, he's not going to beat probably.
He's got skills of a top 3 or 5 guy, but he's got a chin of a bottom 20 guy, and it's going to cost you.
I think it's the defense more than the chin.
Yeah,
it's the defense that's a real
so
issue.
Much.
Yeah,
he's not much.
Or he's willing to get hit. Yeah. John Vellante, split decision. I mean, how bad was this fight? Why do they keep pushing? Why do they keep pushing Vellante on us? I get that he's like kind of charismatic and he's friends with like guys that are
but then
good.
Match him up in a good fight. This was always going to be a terrible fight.
But he's not good.
Match him up.
He's never met his potential.
He's boys with Matt Sire and them, and Matt Sire is Dana's boy, so he's going to continue getting fights.
But man, it was just ugly. Like he was throwing a lot of air punches. Oof, it was ugly.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the fight of the night, Calvin Cotter really impressed me, taking out a guy that I've been super high on, Shane Burgos. It was the fight of the night. It was, to me, a very compelling 2 rounds and 30 seconds or so. What do you guys think of each of these guys going forward? I'll start with Wes.
Big on both of them. Let's not forget that Burgos was actually taking that fight back over after the first.
Those body shots.
Yeah, I'm very high on both of these guys, man. Cater, his boxing is so legit, man. If you just watched his footwork and that steamroller jab he just kept pumping, that was beautiful stuff. You don't see that a lot in MMA, and it eventually set up him finishing that fight. But man, how can you not look at Burgos in that fight coming in the second round? How he started working the body and his pressure. Man, very high on both these guys. That's not a bad loss for Burgos, I don't think. I think he'll come back better off of this. And yeah, I like both of these guys, man. But Cater, that was a big win, man, and he's going to be a problem with that boxing and stand up, man, for a lot of guys. But highly impressed by both, man. Looking forward to seeing both these dudes fight again.
Nushan?
Yeah, both great additions to the featherweight division. That division's already
what
amazing.
A division! Yeah,
it's an amazing division. Then you got these two guys.
It's the best division in MMA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Agreed.
I like bantamweight a lot too.
Good.
Actually,
it's just
it's a little younger. I agree. A lot of talent.
Yep.
I think Cotter's like 30, and like he really came to the UFC with like zero.
Well, it was late notice, wasn't it?
He's a total late. He ran through Andre Fili. I think that was the fight, right?
Yep.
Like he just kind of ragdolled him, right?
Yeah,
it was mainly
a
grappling
decision, but he smashed him the whole time. Like nobody knew who this guy was.
That's when the Fili train got ran off the track.
But in hindsight, I guess it's not that terrible.
Yeah,
loss. This guy's good.
It's not.
I'm just looking at the rankings here. I'm going to open up the featherweight rankings.
That seems like
I'm going to do it. I bet you might like it. Well, it's just I shouldn't say that. I think they still have Bektic at like 14th or 15th, which to me is still stupid. But
he's 15.
Even though he ran through Elkins and screwed himself, but yeah,
he's 15. There's nobody.
That's not a bad loss. Looking at old Elkins now, right?
You got to give Elkins credit. You really do.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think we had a show since then. Or maybe we did. I don't think we did.
No, we didn't have one last week when we would have went over that card.
I wouldn't even fault somebody arguing Elkins right there for a title shot. The dude's won 5 or 6 in a row. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying I could hear that argument. Really could. He's got
he's not far off. Ortega's ahead of him clearly to me.
Yeah. I'm just saying resume. They're never going to give it to him, but he's won like 5 or 6 in a row against like some legit dudes in there.
Yeah, I mean, sure he has. He has the win over Stevens. That was really questionable though, but he was competitive against him at a minimum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he beat Chaz Skelly, who's super underrated in my opinion. Is probably just outside this top 15. He stole that win against Bektic, who I've been raving about since the beginning of time. And then I mean he beat Michael top 7 or 8 in the lightweight division, who's not ranked yet in the featherweight divisions. Obviously is super talented. A lot of good wins. No joke. I'm just looking at this top 15. It's kind of hard to get into there. I mean, there's a lot of talent. I mean, would you put Calvin Cotter in the rankings? I mean, I think he's got to be right there. I mean, I would probably put him. It's tough.
Who do you push?
Jury, maybe Jury.
Maybe, yeah.
Or Duho Choi, maybe.
Yeah, Choi's got to drop a little, right?
I mean, he's 13.
Coming up.
I mean, he was competitive against Stevens. He was going to drop out once he goes to the military duty. But I would put Cotter right there. I've been super impressed. I mean, I think Burgos is a really, really good counter striker, heavy volume, and Cotter for the most part was outstriking him. That's super impressive, and being able to finish a guy undefeated like that, who I think has got a really good chin, super impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who they're going to put him up against next. I honestly thought the Emmett fight would have made sense, but now they're like Emmett's ranked 4th off the Lamas win, which is
making weight.
I mean,
That's
without
just
making
ridiculous,
making weight, got one win kind of out of nowhere. Come on, man. And now he's main eventing a Fox guard.
Yeah, that's. What are they doing? What the hell are they doing?
I may have to hammer Stevens, honestly.
Yeah, I already grabbed some of that.
What is the line?
Depends where you bet it at. I got it at minus 115, but it's minus 145 now.
What? Oh, that is. Oh, come on. Oh, we're doing this again. I don't know what we're doing. This is this is
nobody knows anymore.
Criminal. I will absolutely be betting that. Man, that is terrible.
Talk about criminal.
Terrible.
Talk about criminal. DC under 3 to 1.
This round was pretty awesome, though.
DC under 3 to 1.
What did you?
I got him
first
inside
round
the
of that fight
distance at minus 140.
Yeah, I played a little bit. I got his points to it like around minus 200, which was fucking insane, dude.
What did you?
God, they had
a Vulcan strategy though in the first round at least.
I mean, what else do you have?
Yeah, pretty much.
He tried to throw the kitchen sink at him.
I don't get he doesn't have that much. That's his way to win.
Yeah,
he had the Rumble strategy. Pretty much, I mean, you got to go in there and take him out.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You just got to go 100% off because if he's done if he survives.
It's gonna. I don't know. It's crazy to start thinking about like DC's like career and shit. I mean, I think we're getting there close to like DC is like maybe the 2, 3, 4 best fighter ever.
Yep.
Seriously, no bullshit.
I'd have to think about that, but I think he's definitely in the top. He's in the top 10 all time. I think
if there was no John Jones, we'd be talking about DC as
the best fighter in this weight class.
Only loss
maybe
he has.
One of the best ever. Maybe one of the best. I think he's one of the best ever, dude. Like he could be anybody a heavyweight. Like that dude could go up to heavyweight and have the belt tomorrow. He could literally be a 2-time champ without John Jones.
I mean, there's some. I mean, he'd be facing a much bigger man at that.
Yeah, but DC could put on 25 pounds and
Yeah, but I'm talking about height and size.
Oh yeah, but most of the guys at light heavyweight are bigger than him.
That's true.
When you see him picking up guys, even back in strike, when he was flipping Josh Barnett up over his head, Josh Barnett is 250 pounds. Seriously, DC could be heavyweight champ. Personally, I don't like. I think he's a total goofball.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But
we can't deny his athletic ability.
That the dude is. He's definitely in my top 5 all-time greatest fighters.
What is
No
your top
shit.
5?
Well, but John Jones is definitely
Who's clearly ahead of him, in your opinion?
clearly
John
John Jones.
What about George St. Pierre? I would put him ahead of him.
Yeah, I guess you could put
Just by longevity. You have to at some point you have to
and I think
that.
a lot of people would say Anderson Silva. I'm not, me personally, I think a lot of Anderson Silva's UFC run is just against a bunch of cans, dude. And I think Anderson's great and everything. I just don't rate Anderson as high as a lot of other people do. But I would take DC over Anderson, probably top 3. That's probably my top 3 right there.
What about the Mouse?
He's getting there. He's top 5.
Top 5.
There's your top 5. That's probably my top 5. Bones, DC, GSP, Mighty Mouse. Then your 5th is debatable. I'm always a Dan Hendo mark. I know you can nitpick all kinds of shit about his career, but I'm a Hendo mark, so he's probably in my top 5. But DC is absolutely a top 5 greatest of all time. The dude's legit. He's a great, great fighter. Could you imagine if he would have gotten this sport when he was in his 20s? I mean, you're talking about DC's great, man. John Jones is just going to always be that asterisk next to DC. And I don't give a fuck about whatever he was using or whatever. All kinds of fighters use a bunch of shit. Steroids don't fucking make your head kick technique any better. So, but yeah, DC's legit, man. I say all kinds of shit about the guy because I think he's a total cornball, but great fighter, man. All time great fighter. I mean, look what he did to guys. I mean, like Rumble and shit. Like, I mean, he just mauls those guys. Completely mauls them.
He's probably only going to fight 2 more times.
Yeah, he should be getting about done.
Yeah.
He's probably going to fight Gus, and then I think he does the Bones fight.
And
It's
imagine
kind of
those.
It's kind of a shame. I would like to see the Gus fight again.
Yeah,
I would really like that.
too.
I don't even really think I want to see too much of him fight Bones again, honestly, because
but they're going to do it just because of the
Bones would just thrash him again, and then you have all those fucking whiny bitch boys out there. Oh, well, he's probably on steroids again. Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what you would hear. It would be the same. It would be the same thing. Bones would smash him, and then everybody would say, "Oh, well, he wouldn't win if he was on steroids." Give me a fucking break, dude. I'll say
I don't mind that. I don't mind that fight not happening again. As I thought the way that it ended the second time was enough that I don't need to see it again.
We know who the better fighter is.
That's right.
Who the better fighter is.
All right, news, Sean. Wes kind of brought up the question, so now we're going to have this discussion. Who are your top 5 fighters of all time?
No, I think I kind of agree with Wes. I got
So,
Bones.
neither of you guys think that of nobody that kind of came in the first 15 years or so of MMA is worthy of a top 5 position?
Like who?
They can.
I don't know who else? I mean, who is there?
I mean,
well, you got your Tito's, your Frank Shamrocks, your
Frank Shamrock, or
Fedor,
Nogueiras.
Nogueiras. Well,
Hughes.
here's my whole thought about it.
But they've all lost so many times. I guess
that's the problem.
You're lower.
If you fight long
and
enough,
I guess
you
when
get
you're
losses.
current, yeah, but that's the thing here. So that's why you kind of mentioned about Anderson Silva. At one point, his consensus like top 2 of all time. But then he kind of stuck around till like he got to around 39, 40, lost a few times, and now like is his record tarnished? The same kind of goes for Jose Aldo. Like he had a tremendous run, and now he's lost a couple times, and now you can't talk about him as one of the best ever. Because
I put Aldo ahead of Anderson just because of who he was fighting.
Yeah, and I don't kind of measure.
Was better.
I don't kind of measure mine on that. I'm kind of more if you was to take Prime Aldo and put him right today fighting guys, is he still that good? Yes. Yep. If you take like that's why I could rate like Matt Hughes a little higher or BJ Penn, because if you took those guys' skill set today, could they still be Matt Hughes could still it translates pretty well. But if you was to take like your top 15 say your top 15 welterweight and taking back 15 years ago, he's mauling most of the fucking division. You know what I'm saying? Like your average guys now are just way better than those dudes back then.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of how I rate my top
You
guys.
can't just take like their prime, like your peak is a peak though. Like I mean, there are guys.
I'm just saying
like
skill set.
Like McGregor had like great moments for like a year and a half or so, and that doesn't mean 5 or 7 guy. You know, that's just one example. I mean, there's been like BJ too, in my opinion. He had a few great fights. I mean, I guess it's just the length of the quality of work. I mean, it's like a combination of things, right?
Yeah, well, when I
get it, you know, is Hank Aaron better than, you know, peak? I don't know, like Sammy Sosa. Oh, okay, that's steroids, but you get where I'm going with this.
Just say, yeah. Well, I mean, you could take it based like Hank Aaron with all the stats are like Mike Trout, you know, best
right, or Mickey
5-tool baseball player in the game.
Or maybe Mickey Mantle. I don't know.
I think some guys kind of measure it with like overall career, what they've done. I kind of like to do mine more of skill set in time and place. You know what I'm saying? Like, will it still translate? You kind of want to mix that a little bit. A longevity of career, would your skill set still translate? I think the guys that I have could fight in any era and be mashing guys. It's just hard to take. It's hard to take dudes from, 15 years ago when, most guys like knew wrestling really good, or most guys knew jiu-jitsu really good, and then was just okay at other shit. Those guys would get pretty fucked up in today's MMA. They really would. Yeah. But I think like you bring up like a Matt Hughes, or Matt Hughes wrestling and ground and pound and shit would translate to today. BJ Penn's all around game, I think, would still translate. But you're just the physique of guys, the training methods, the nutrition methods. I mean, in any other sport. I mean, football players, you didn't have 250-pound linebackers doing 4.40s 25 years ago. You do now, Those guys are just better players. That's kind of how I look at it. But teach their own. I think guys are going to look at it a little differently, Yep. I throw Hendo in there, and there's no way, Hendo's not beating a lot of these guys at 185 and 205 today like he did 15 years ago, but I love the guy for some reason.
I don't think you're too far off for putting Max Holloway in the conversation, but that's another story for another day.
He's really close, and I think he will eventually go down as one of the 3 or 4 best of all time.
He could. He certainly could. And so could a certain Russian, but we'll see. Especially if he never loses.
But you see how guys, just like you think about Khabib, though, and just think about like a guy that's like, 24-0, just murders guys about to fight for a title, and some people just never give him his due because they're biased at certain shit like that. They just can't take that bias out of rating a guy.
It's got to show up. That's
definitely. Definitely not.
He shows up and he'll win people over.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers the UFC piece. We'll quickly touch on last week's Bellator card. Man, this was different. A lot of decisions. And, for as hyped as the Rory McDonald the Douglas Lima fight was anyone else disappointed? Because I was. This maybe because of the injury, and Rory didn't really strike with Douglas Lima. I mean, did he really win the fight per se?
Yeah.
Did he though?
Well, score if you're gonna score it, yeah, but
that takedown defense.
He won the fight.
Yeah,
he lost the fight, but he won the war. However you want to say it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's probably the other way around, but yeah, you got to give credit to Rory. Like his leg was absolutely mashed. His nose was pretty mashed.
Sure.
And I mean, would I have liked to see him finish Lima or Lima to finish him for sure? But I mean, when you get injuries like that, you got to just survive. And Roy, with his takedowns, was able to survive and got it out. And I give props to the guy. He left the UFC and he was able to win the belt in 2 fights and make a good amount of money doing it. So I like that, and I didn't mind it because I bet him too. So I was kind of had my ass puckered after the second round.
Yeah.
Now I have to say something. Let me clear my throat before I
bring it, Jay.
go.
What you got?
Rampage.
Oh my god! I didn't even watch that. I didn't even watch it.
If you hear this at some point, and I certainly hope that somebody hears this, you were tasked in a heavyweight tournament, heavyweight to begin with. You were tasked to fight a natural middleweight who has 0 punching power, and all you knew
eating cheeseburgers just to get up to weight.
Right, eating cheeseburgers just to get up to weight. Not to say that you weren't eating cheeseburgers along the way, because you
shit. Rampage looked good, man. That motherfucker had abs and
compared
shit.
To his fight before,
say
that.
that.
He actually was in shape.
Don't you say that?
It looked like
he looked good.
He was in better shape than he was the fight before.
Yep, absolutely. That's why I'm still so pissed off.
Rampage. You knew all he was going to try. Matt, he can't hurt you on the feet. He can throw 1,000 punches on the feet. He can't hurt you. You know that. I know that. He knows that. Scott Coker knew that. That's why he put you in this fight with him. Is that so you Rampage could win and potentially do something in this bizarro tournament. Instead, you lost 3 rounds to a natural middleweight.
Well, sir, only 2 supposedly, but
you lost 3 rounds to a natural middleweight. Do you understand that? You had 30 plus pounds on him heading into this bout, and you lost. Clearly lost. That is pathetic.
If he wants to
do you
fight,
care?
He should go to kickboxing because
yes, yeah. Rampage. I'm done with you. There's not watch you anymore. I honestly turned off the TV if you were on. You lost all your marketing ability. You're not going to get any movies anymore. You're not going to get anything anymore. You're not cool anymore. Your nickname is Rampage. You are Quentin from now on. No. Quentin, you are no longer a star. You are no longer a star. It is over. Unless you stop fucking eating and focus on your training. You're done. End of story.
What's crazy is Quentin's got a pretty big following on Twitch. That dude gets sponsorship and stuff on Twitch. Like, dude needs to just go to playing video games 24/7.
Well, he's a fucking twit, I'll tell you that.
What's crazy, too, is, like, Quentin used to have some of the best takedown defense you could ever imagine.
He got outstruck by Chael P. Sonnen. Chael! How the hell does that happen? Who has Chael outstruck in his career? Rampage. End of list. I mean, what is he doing? So Chael's gonna face the winner of Mir and Fedor?
Yep.
Oh God.
Anyway. Bader to win the whole thing. I'm telling you.
I was actually going to write my a power rankings of this tournament at one point for MMA Oddsbreaker, and I didn't want to even waste my energy doing it, so I didn't.
Good call.
But since we're here, I'm saying right now we're going to see a Ryan Bader Frank Mir final.
Probably, yeah.
Man, did you see how fat Frank Mir was looking?
Man,
he looked like a bowling ball.
He looked like Roy Nelson.
I know.
He looked like Roy Nelson.
Chael.
Jesus. I know.
He's going heavyweight and a middle. How is Frank Mir going to lose to Chael? Oh, that would be something. Another one of
he could lose to Fedor. It could definitely happen. I'm not.
He's going to get knocked out. Frank Mir is not getting subbed by Fedor.
No, he might get knocked out by Fedor.
I think the first whiff that Frank gets by Fedor, Fedor's going to fall dead. That dude is just he's done.
Yeah, it's likely to happen as well, but
that dude is just completely done.
Fights,
I'm just sad that we got guys like
Ryan Bader, the biggest threat to Ryan Bader probably is going to be the semifinal. I think he runs. I think Ryan Bader. What about Roy?
I think Mitrione's going to beat Roy Nelson this time.
Probably.
Bader's probably biggest comp is his first fight. No.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how
260 against King Mo though.
How's King Mo going to beat him though?
He's not, but I think that's his biggest comp, honestly.
Bader might even boxing. It's going to be
Bader might even hurt King Mo on the feet. That's a scary part. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that.
Nice finish by
it doesn't
Aaron
deserve
Pico,
more.
Though.
Yeah, we're gonna say
I know he was fighting a plug, but still, he broke the guy at three.
How many times
is
he going? How many times is he going to do the same celebration after a victory, though?
Yeah, well, I don't watch the celebration. I just see him murdering a dude's right in the gut.
Pretty funny how he was a nobody too after getting a tough matchup like his second fight, and he's done. All the hype was nothing.
That dude's got hands, man.
He's good.
He's good.
Fuck, he's really fucking good, man.
Well, let's see. Give him time. Kind of like with Ed Ruth. I mean, it's going to take time to kind of develop these guys.
I think he's ahead of Ed Ruth with his hands.
Pico's legit. Pico is legit. That guy's going to be very fucking good.
Ed Ruth might be more physical than Pico, though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
different.
It's just different, but
I think Pico's just his skills, like Sean said, his hands are just way ahead of.
It's like Henry Cejudo, right? I mean, Henry Cejudo's hands are awesome. Yeah. Really awesome. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on
to break down this awesome card.
Yeah, there's some stuff there.
There's back-to-back women's fights. Let's be serious.
Doing that. All right. First fight on the card. I don't know if you guys remember either of these cats, but Austin Arnett, who we were just talking about, who lost on the Contender Series to Brandon Davis, who just lost to Kyle Bochniak, is facing another newcomer, Corey Sandhagen, who I believe fights out of Elevation Fight Team, home to TJ Dillashaw and Rose Namajunas, and Neil Magny, I believe. So, Wes, any thoughts on this one? Do you care?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Arnett besides that other fight. I haven't looked into this one too much, but Sandhagen has got some decent wins on LFA. Definitely much bigger competition. So you gotta favor him in this fight, but I don't really know yet. I haven't looked into it as much, but he's the pick as of right now.
Anything here new, Sean?
I got nothing.
No opinion. Yeah, I got I rate Arnett as a D, and Arnett at D minus, and Sandhagen a D. Arnett doesn't have any power in his hands. He's kind of long, but he just doesn't press forward a lot. Sandhagen really good footwork, can grapple as well. The striking isn't amazing, but I think it's certainly on par with Arnett. So I just like his just talent level is a bit higher and more well rounded. So Sandhagen should win, but again, do you really want to bet a 2-1 favorite making his debut against another guy making his debut? That seems like a disaster. So avoid that. Moving up, we got preliminary fight pass card race and the return of the ghost of George Sullivan. Wes.
Yeah, I just don't see any way how you could favor George Sullivan in this fight. I don't think Nico's like some world beater or anything. But I mean, dude, it's George Sullivan. I think Nico pieces him up on the feet here. Might even get a finish in this fight. So I got him in a parlay with a couple chalky things on here, but I got him at like minus 190 or 185, something like that. 3-1's getting a little out there. Even if you, like I do, think George Sullivan's a fucking trash can, it's hard to lay 3-1 on Nico Price, but he's going to get it done here.
Nushan.
Yeah, I don't think too much of Nico Price. I mean, I can understand betting him at the opener closer to 2-1. He was like minus 185 at the open, but I mean, it's minus 300. I'm not betting George Sullivan, but it seems like everybody on the MMA Twitter is betting Nico Price, so I'm going to pick George Sullivan in Toutmaster, even though he hasn't fought in 2 years and he's terrible. This is just a pure fade.
So the guy who beat
the system.
The guy who beat Khalil Roundtree failed his drug test? Okay, good to know.
Ola Candy?
I guess I'll never get my money back.
The Candy Man?
Yeah.
Oh, man. God, that cost me too. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I got Price a C, Sullivan a D. I like Nico Price a lot in this bout, but it comes down to a fade of Sullivan. It's been touched on already. It's just a disaster. A guy coming off, USADA violation was not looking good before then. He's an elder statesman in this weight class. Disaster. We just saw it literally last week with Gleison Tebow coming off a two-year layoff and just getting blitzed in an opening minute of his bout and looking like a shell of his former self. So I think we're going to see that here. Sullivan's just going to be just at a significant disadvantage against Price, and Price will get the win. I have Price in a 3-man parlay. I'll mention the other two later on this card.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Next fight up, first fight of the televised card, 6-fight preliminary card, typical with these big Fox cards. So we got the return of Vink Pichel taking on undefeated Brazilian. You guys know that? Joaquim Silva.
It's Vink Pickle, Jay.
No, it's not.
Can you get his name right?
Pickle. It's no. I will not.
Go Wes.
This is only his second fight in 3 years.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I think it was a small bet, but I faded him last time against Brown just because of that layoff and stuff. But he looked pretty good coming back off the layoff. I know he got him out. Yeah, he's not. And it was a perfect fight for him too. I mean, a guy that was going to stand there and bang with him, and Pichel caught him. I don't know a lot about the Brazilian. I mean, he's fighting the Reza Madatis and shit of the world. I need to look into him a little bit more. But right now, I'm leaning Pichel. I think Pichel might get him out of there, but I need to look at it a little bit more. I might bet Pichel here at around even money, but gonna look at it a little bit more.
My turn, Jay?
Anyway, yeah, that's where you should just step in. You should know this by now.
All right. Yeah, I'm not betting either of these guys. I don't think much of old Vink Pickle. I think he might have. He got a pretty favorable matchup against Damian Brown. I don't think he's going to have the luck he did in that fight, but I'm not betting Silva. But I'll pick him at minus 110 in Toutmaster.
Okay, that's not. I think this line is basically a pick'em. That's interesting enough. I kind of had a little bit of a problem deciding who I thought was going to win this bout. I like Pickle. We'll call him fine. We'll call him Pickle because Nushan said so. We'll trust the Canadian here and his schooling. I don't know if that's the case, but whatever. I got
not the case.
I'm grading them as C- each. I kind of like Joaquim Silva. I think he's gone under the radar. He's had some solid wins so far in the UFC. And Pickle's not terrible. But he's 35 years old already. He has only fought once in the past 3 years or so. I mean, coming back against Damian Brown really doesn't impress me at all. So I think this fight can kind of go either way. I'll just take Silva, a little bit younger, undefeated, to get the win. But by no means is this a lock. And honestly, I think it's arguably the hardest fight to pick on the card. Next bout up, I don't know how much you guys want to talk about. Here we are. It's the first women's fight of the card.
Hell yeah.
You got Ji Yoon Kim facing off against the Poop Master, Justine Kish.
Oh God, the pick is shit stain. You can't lay 3-1. The over.
Justine Kishstein? Yeah.
Yeah, Justine Kishstein. Yeah, Shitstain wins. Can't lay 3-1. Play the over if you want to go D-Gen.
Yeah, I didn't even play the over. I'm just
Wow.
guessing. Not on this one. Don't worry, it's coming. But I'll pick Tish.
I know what fight is coming for. Actually, there might be 2 fights.
There is.
Yes. So I think Kish might actually do a lot better in this weight class because she was like it seemed like cut a ton of weight, or it was very difficult for her to make straw weight. Now at flyweight, 10 pounds more, maybe we'll actually get to see what she's actually capable of, and maybe she won't be as frazzled, or just kind of just physically weak, because she'll actually have energy when she fights. So that'll be interesting enough. I got Kish a C-, Kim a D. Kim really not that good. Kish really just way more skilled. Should run through her, but we've seen Kish before, and I know. But I'm thinking we'll see something different at this weight class. But I certainly wouldn't want to bet on that. Strawweight fight: Randa Marcos, Juliana Lima. I believe this is a top 15 bout. Exciting stuff, right, Wes?
So exciting! Can't wait. Can't fucking wait.
Actually, I actually like Marcos here. I just think you put pressure on Lima, man, and she kind of folds up a little bit, and Marcos is just going to be all pressure here. I can't bet anything on this fight, but I think Marcos gets a decision here. Over's probably the way to go if you want any action.
Okay,
that's it. Let's move on.
Sean.
Yeah, I played Goes the Distance. I got it at -189. Marcos has been to the distance 6 of the last 7 fights, and Lima's been 5 of the last 6. I think this is going to be a boring fight, and Marcos is probably going to wrestle her way to a boring-ass win.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually... grade both these girls a C+. I think this will be a really competitive bout, and I actually like Lima's wrestling better than Marcos, and more importantly, I like her. I actually like her conditioning, which is really the key here. Marcos, I feel, slows down later in fights, and it's going to be, kind of like a grueling grappling affair. And I think that favors Lima. I'm going to take a half unit. That's kind of my angle here. Is it the most confident bet I've ever had? No, but I'll play the angle at the better conditioned fighter.
See, cutting out on your end,
and the final.
Yeah, Jay, your internet kind of sucks tonight.
Yeah, you're cutting out a lot.
I thought it was somebody else, but that's fine. I don't know. I guess it is me then. So, final chick fight: Caitlin Chookagian versus Mara Romero Barrella.
Ooh.
Wes, are you gonna copy Sean and bet it over?
Yeah, I really don't know on this fight yet. I have no idea. I'm gonna pick in Master. I'm not betting it, but yeah, if you want any action, the over's the way to go in this one too. Either go to a decision. That's it. That's all I got.
Right.
Fuck this fight.
It's exciting. New Sean, over City?
I took Goes the Distance. I took Goes the Distance at -173 parlay.
He's even taking even more.
For +142. I got the Goes the Distance the last 2 ladies fights, and yeah, I think Mukagan will probably win a terrible, terrible fight. The mookiest of ways.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Let me see my grades here. I got both these ladies a C+. I think this could be a pretty competitive fight. I was surprised by Barrella Marrero and her debut. She certainly exceeded my expectations. I think Chookagian's decent. Pretty good jab. Trains with a good fight camp down with Mark Henry and Frankie Edgar down in Jersey. So I'm going to lean towards Chookagian to get the win. Just better striking fundamentals. But this one to me is probably the second closest fight on the card outside of the Vink and Joaquin Silva fight. So it's a total pass on a bet. Next fight, we're gonna have something to talk about here. We got one of my favorites, Mirsad Bektic, taking on one of our all-time favorites, Mr. Magma. Got a Frito Pepe. I think we created that nickname, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and you've noticed how that there's it's become a thing.
It always
trendsetters.
It usually does when we come up with our nicknames. They usually do. Agreed. So we'll start with Wes. You think he's pissing Ecto Cooler again, or what? You think he could really get past USADA? Is that possible?
Not in Charlotte. Not in Charlotte. Maybe down in Sao Paulo. Not in Charlotte.
Or Belém or whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Man. I think you gotta like Bektic in this fight, man. I know we all got crushed on that last one, but looking at it now was losing like at Elkins. That battle loss.
It was still a bad loss. It was still.
It's a bad.
Should have won.
Yep.
Elkins
he was up 30-26.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. He should have definitely won that, but we know how tough Elkins is now, man. And if you leave that guy around long enough, you do that at your own peril. But Pepe is not Elkins. Pepe is a quitter when the going gets tough. Elkins is the exact opposite. Bektic will make the going tough, and Pepe will quit here. I like Bektic a lot. Have him in the chalk parlay and like him inside the distance as well. I think he gets a finish here in the second or third. Pepe a quit.
New Sean.
Yeah, I pretty much think the exact same way as Wes here. Bektic is a monster. I know he has a somewhat sketchy chin, so you might have to watch out for that for the first couple minutes, but this is going to be a freight train just running over Mr. Magma. Pepe it will quit at some point. It might be even late in the first. Like, Bektic is going to smash. I'm going to be betting Bektic inside the distance and minus 135, and probably going to play his points handicap, even though it'll be probably juiced. It'll probably be about minus 350, but I'm still going to play that shit when it comes out.
I got Pepe a C minus, Bektic a solid B, so a huge discrepancy in talent. It's both these guys kind of got on it. This fight's in the States. Pepe's not going to be able to be on the Vitor TRT Tour level of ecto cooler, liquid hot lava magma. Okay, it's not happening. And Pepe slows down. He come out fast, but Bektic is a guy who's just going to go, oops, power double. You're on the ground, and he's going to pummel you. That's what he does, and he hurts people, and he typically finishes them. He's obviously this is his first fight since the Darren Elkins bout. He's obviously going to be highly motivated to come back. Obviously learn from that bout. Maybe he'll even be a little more cautious. But ultimately, Pepe's going to give in, and he's going to get beat up on the mat, and he's going to get knocked out. But the ref's going to stop it. That's the way it's going to go. I haven't decided if I'm going to go the ITD bet or the straight knockout bet. So that's the only reason why I haven't done that yet. But I love him, and in this bet, it's a W over a Brazilian who's is washed up in a way, or just not the same after USADA. And this is where we have our 5dimes.eu consensus bet of the week. It is Mirsad Bektic inside the distance, right, New Sean? What is the line?
Minus 135, Bektic inside the distance.
There you go. 5dimes.eu, MMA odds breaker / the MMA analysis bet of the week. Mirsad Bektic inside the distance, minus 135. Final bout of the undercard. Bobby, quote-unquote, King Green, taking on Eric. I actually turned down a featherweight title shot at one point and got back to prominence. Yes.
Jay cutting all out. You got me all messed up over here.
You're good to go.
I like Bobby Green in this spot, man. I think Green's kind of coming into his own a little bit, man. It was a decent win against our boy Lando last time out. Dude's just been fighting, a who's who of that division, and Magomedov, Poirier, Barboza.
You say Poirier?
That's a J word right there.
Yeah,
we're close on that one, huh?
make it a little thing. Right.
And I'm just, man, I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest Derek Koch fan. I know he's only like 29, man, but he seems like he's 40 in fight years. And this fight could, I think, look a lot like, or not a lot, but close to the Guida fight, man. And Bobby Green's just a better Guida. I could absolutely see him just pushing Koch to the cage here and working him over, getting takedowns, ground and pound. So, yeah, I played Bobby Green. I like the juice minus 155. Nothing big, but I think he gets the win here, man. I think Bobby Green's he's getting better, man. He's starting to get there. He's just 31, so I think he's got a few good years, and we'll see. He's got to get a win here, but I think he gets it done.
New Sean.
I faded Derek Koch last time against Clay Guida. I just thought that was a crazy number.
Smart.
Yeah,
So did I.
I grabbed I
think we all did, actually.
I think Guida by decision was like plus 350. That was a nice one. I don't think Koch is that good, but I just refuse to have money on Bobby Green with some of the choices that he makes.
Did Guida finish?
No, it was a decision.
I thought he finished late in the third.
Yeah. But yeah, I refuse to put money on Bobby Green. He does some just not intelligent things inside the octagon. So I will pick him. I expect him to win a decision here, but I just cannot put money on him.
Yeah, I got Green a C+, Eric Koch a C-. I like Bobby Green here as well. He's just a way more talented striker at this point, and Eric Koch, kind of like Wes mentions, just seems like he's in the twilight of his career, even though he's just 29 years old. He's just not the same guy he was 3-4 years ago when he was
turning down title shots.
Turning down title shots because he thought he was going to be the stud. Right, exactly. So let's move up to the main card. First bout on the main card. I don't know how this made it to the main card, but we are.
Come on, it's Drew Dober. That guy's a fucking star.
He's all right. Drew Dober against Frank Macho Camacho. Wes.
Yeah, I need to look at this one a little more too, but I'm kind of leaning Dober right now, man. Dober, he's a tough out, man. Every time out. I just think he's a little bit better than Camacho here, man. But I need to look at this a little bit more. No bet on this as of right now, but pick is Dober.
New Sean.
I've never really been a fan of Drew Dober, but he's kind of putting it together lately. I know he had that kind of loss to Ulm by submission, but that shit can kind of happen to people. But he's had a couple, first round knockouts that are fairly impressive. Camacho is nothing special. He won early against Jangalang, but then got finished, and I think that was just kind of a thing where he comes out early and kind of catches him off guard. I just don't think he's that skilled. He's just kind of a boxer with a little bit of wrestling. I think Dober takes it to him, and he might even get a finish.
Yeah, I have Dober D+, Camacho a D. Dober has only been knocked out, I think, like once in his career. It was back in like 2011. Most of his losses have actually, or I should say most, but his most recent losses have been by submission. Actually, really not a threat there. He's a striker, kind of. He's definitely a striker. Likes to stand toe to toe. And I actually think Dober has the advantage there because I think he's quicker, for one, and he's definitely more experienced, has more seasoning, has faced higher level of talent. And I think that's the difference. I think Camacho's going to be in trouble in this bout. I think he could get KO'd. But that's probably the most likely result, in all honesty. So let's take Dober. I kind of get why maybe Dober's in the spot because it really should be an entertaining bout between two guys who are going to strike. Maybe that's why that UFC really seems to like to start their main cards with kind of an action bout. So I guess this kind of fits the bill. So that's that. But I'll take Dober by I'll say second round knockout. 3 fights left. We got Jordan Rinaldi taking on a real step up in competition against former NCAA Division I wrestling champion Grigor Gillespie.
Just Katie Holmes Titties. Shout out to Brad on that one.
Yeah. Tan Titties.
Yeah. I think Rinaldi's he's kind of in tough here, man. I just don't know what Rinaldi does like great at anything. He's a decent wrestler, but what's that, when you're going against a guy like Gregor? I think he's in tough here, man. This dude is minus 500 for a reason here. He'll get it done. I chalk parlayed him with Bektic and Nico at some plus money on the opener. So I think that cashes. Rinaldi just in too tough here, man. This is too big of a step up.
Did you guys see this? I'm on Tapology's website, and there's a headline: Bobby Lashley spears American top team owner Dan Lambert through a table on Impact.
They do that. They did on there with Cody or with dumb shit. Covington and them. Yeah, I've done spots on there, dude. Yeah. Dan Lambert and all of them. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Getting that side cash from Wrestling.
That's right, from the Rassles. Oh, man. So, New Sean, you're up.
This is kind of a weird matchup. I kind of expected them to give Gillespie a bit of a step up. Rinaldi is kind of just fighter number 7. I don't know what the deal is.
Anybody wants to face him. I don't think anyone wants to face him, to be honest.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, we've kind of seen that with some other guys in the the welterweight division and stuff like that.
High wrestling category.
Oh, I guess Rinaldi is the hometown fighter, but
he wanted to get on the card. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, they'll sell some tickets and he will get destroyed because Gregor Gillespie is a pretty damn good fighter for how young he is in his career. He kind of had a little bit of a slower first fight in the UFC, but since then he's looked amazing. I think he is going to just absolutely dominate Jordan Rinaldi. I'll be looking to take his points handicap and put it with Bektic and try to get close to even money.
We may even see it one. I'm thinking about something in my head. I don't even want to think about that fight too far down the road for me. But anyway, Rinaldi's a D+. Gillespie's a B. I don't care if Rinaldi's the hometown fighter. This is a guy that in 2016 lost the decision to Abel Trujillo. Okay, and then he won his next fight against something called Alvaro Herrera. What is an Alvaro Herrera?
Nobody knows, Jay.
What are those Mexican tough guys, I believe.
And now he's facing an NCAA Division I wrestling champion who's 10-0 in his UFC career and has beaten the shit out of people. This is not good. I would be stunned if Rinaldi wins. This to me would probably be if he somehow won, it would be probably a top 3 upset of the entire year by the time the year closes out. And it's only January. Gillespie wins. He's probably a top 15 lightweight already, even though he hasn't gotten the credit yet because he hasn't had to face the highest caliber of competition. But clearly the wrestling's there. He can strike. He's got power. He could be a problem in his weight class. So he's one of my legs with Bektic, with Nico Price.
Got the same one.
That 3-team parlay. Yep, same one as Wes. I don't know exactly what it pays now, but I bet it. I think it was yesterday. It was just around minus 110, so I'm sure it's somewhere in the low minus range at this point. Still, co-main event time. Interesting bout. Featherweight division. Dennis the Menace Bermudez taking on Team Alpha Male wannabe Andre Fili.
He's a wannabe? I mean, he's been there for a while.
Oh, he's in there.
He's a wannabe. He's certainly not at the caliber of his fellow alpha bros.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, he just beat Lobov though.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge win. I mean, really high level caliber competition.
I took a little shot on the plus 150 here. Looking back, I don't think the Cater loss is as bad as it seems. Even though he did get smashed, I think we all believe that dude's pretty damn good. I just don't know if Bermudez is just getting any better. I think he's just the same guy he's always been, and I mean he absolutely could work his wrestling here and take Feely down and smash him, but that just ain't what the dude does. He's got a fight IQ of a porch swing. So I don't know. Bermudez finds ways to lose fights, man, and I think he'll find a way to lose this fight. And I think Feely could get a decision here. So I took a small shot on the plus 150. Don't get me wrong, Bermudez could win this fight. I don't think the guy ever comes in with a game plan to win a fight, and I don't think he will here either.
New Sean.
Andre Feely has alternated wins and losses his entire UFC career, which is 9 fights.
Wow.
Seeing as he won his last fight against Artem, you know what is going to happen in this fight. He is going to lose.
It's also called shitty competition, great competition. Shitty competition, great competition.
There's a step up. But yeah, like Wes said, Bermudez likes to shit away wins. That chin is a liability. Crazy shit can happen. I'm not touching this fight with a 10-foot pole, but I would assume that Bermudez gets a win here, but he could shit it away in the third like he did against, Stevens and, I mean, who else? Who else did he shit away wins to? Well, I guess that's about it. He just got smashed by Korean Zombie and then lost to Elkins. I guess he kind of...
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got Feely a C. Bermudez a B-. I mean, this is a fight Dennis Bermudez really should win because he's not going to get tossed around. I mean, Feely's kind of had success when he's able to kind of take guys to the mat mainly. I feel like Bermudez has had a real advantage there. He'll be able to score takedowns in his own right. He hits harder than Feely. He's at a size disadvantage though, which kind of makes me nervous. And it's really the only reason why I'm not betting it. And like you said, Bermudez isn't one. I don't know. He's hard to trust at this point in his career as well. So it's a non-bet for me. But I do think there are advantages for Bermudez in this bout. But I'll pass. Like I said, I already have a few bets on this card I've already mentioned, and I even have one in the main event that I just feel are better opportunities. So main event time, we got a middleweight bout between top 10 middleweights. Derek Brunson, welcome him back. One of Lance's favorite fighters, Ronaldo Jacare Souza. Wes.
Man, Souza. Everything in my head is telling me to not bet Jacare. He's 38.
He's
coming off a KO loss. But then the other side of my brain is looking back at my tweet with Derek Brunson running across the cage with his arms flailing and his chin in the air. And man, Jacare moving closer to even money. I don't know, man. I'm probably going to do it if it keeps moving that way. I'm not sold on Brunson. He's a decent fighter, man, but he's beaten the guys he should. The ghost of Lyoto and Dan Kelly, who's 75 years old with plastic knees and shit. And I mean, I know Jacare coming off a KO loss. It's always that question, but I think we all think Whitaker is completely the real deal. And before that, he's pretty much untouchable. I know he lost to Yoel, but I'm probably gonna do it if Jacare gets down to a little bit more. I'm betting him. I don't trust Brunson. I'm not as sold on him as a lot of people. I think Jacare's got a couple more in him, and Brunson's he's not the guy to end Jacare. So, if he comes down a little bit more, I'm going to be betting Jacare.
Nushan, thoughts on the main event of this fantastic fight card?
I don't like either of these sides. There's just too many question marks. Jacare, he's 38 now. He just got obliterated by Robert Whittaker. You don't know what he's going to come back with. And then you got Brunson, who has just some of the worst striking defense I've ever seen. I mean, he has put it on Machida and Kelly the last 2 times out, so I could definitely see him putting Jacare out. The play I like on this card, on this fight, is doesn't go the distance. I played it at minus 375. It is a little juicy. I parlayed it with doesn't go the distance in the Magma Bektic fight, so that's minus 113 for those two.
Ooh, that's a good bet.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I just think Brunson might get Jacare early, or Jacare survives and he could
chokes him,
or he could even drop
Wow.
Brunson.
Yeah.
But my pick's gonna be Brunson. I just got to go with the little bit younger fighter and the guy that has a couple wins and isn't coming off a bad knockout.
Yeah, I got both these guys ranked a B+. As most folks know, these guys fought previously, and Brunson got KO'd like in a minute against Jacare. I think it was 2012 in Strikeforce. So now it's many years later. I mean, Jacare is nearly 40. Brunson's coming off 2 knockout victories, including the biggest win of his career against Lyoto Machida. Obviously, he's in confidence. He's in form. In a hometown crowd. He went to college, grew up North Carolina. I mean, that could certainly add some pressure, but it just seems like this is kind of made for him to kind of do well. Jacare, you feel bad loss his last time out, kind of was exposed, and he's nearing the end of his career with being 38 years old, and really, if it's going to be a striking contest prolonged, you have to think that really favors Derek Brunson at this point. Maybe the gas tank's even better. Just more tools on the feet than Jacare. And Derek Brunson's got a 100% takedown defense in his UFC career. He's never been taken down other than when he's been knocked down and ended up on the mat. That's a little different. Jacare really needs grappling and submission opportunities to be successful. I don't see how he's going to get Brunson to the mat unless he hurts him and ends up on top of him. That seems extreme. That seems very
running across the cage, running across the cage, well in fucking windmills.
Well, he still have to get knocked down, and that's
straight into a double leg, That's possible though. That's possible.
That'd be the first time he gets taken down in his career. That'd be crazy. So I'm gonna say it's gonna stay on the feet, and that's gonna favor Brunson, and he's gonna kind of get him. He's gonna get him. And I'll take Derek Brunson here. Small plus money. I got him at, I think, plus 130, a couple days ago again before we recorded the show. And I'll take the younger fighter coming off victories, in form, fighting in front of the hometown fans against a guy who's old and, coming off a really bad loss.
Taking down and choke.
Unfortunately, I think this is kind of towards the end. No anaconda chokes here. Derek Brunson gets the W in front of the home crowd and continues to push up this middleweight division.
I got a feeling.
And with
I'm going to have a when the edibles hit meme when this fight's over.
You're going to hope that, Wes. You're gonna hope that.
If you do, you're certainly going to make us know it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that's okay. That's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
You can definitely make us eat crow. I'll even eat crow on the next show. If Brunson gets KO'd on the feet by Jacare. And if he's taken down by Jacare by a takedown, I'll even eat more crow. How about that?
That's what I'm calling. So
putting it on the line, Jay. Holy.
Put it on the line. I will not eat rat shit in Calcutta. or I'll say I'm going to eat rat shit from Calcutta and then say,
bail.
Bail?
Yeah.
And never come back? Yeah, I don't think I'd do that. So I'm looking forward to this bout. It's not the greatest card on paper, but there are definitely probably like 3 bouts of real interest, and then with Gillespie and Mirsad Bektic, real high level talent
prospects.
Yeah, kind of like what was the last card? Not the pay-per-view, the one before that had Usman, and there was a couple other guys there that are just real high-end prospects, if you want to call them that.
Usman's washed though. Usman's terrible now.
Oh, he's terrible.
Just like Hawgananou, he's horrible.
I hope people bet that way.
23 fights.
Yeah. People are insane, man. They're just fucking insane.
You betcha.
Anyway, hope we should be back next week. I believe it's a Brazil card.
Yeah, get to see another Brazilian legend just get murdered.
That seems like that might happen in his home country.
They never go out well.
Another surging fighter. And with that, good luck and enjoy the fights.